Hey Watch Fam, it's Terry with Toxic Natives. Yeah, I got a pretty interesting video I'm doing today. You can tell by my voice, I'm super excited. But this is a 2016 Airking. I bought it off a guy that does reviews on YouTube. He actually had the watch on loan. He was taking a watch back to the guy he borrowed it from. I think it was like 5 months old, 6 months old. He was strapping his kid in his car seat, and he put the watch in this box on the roof of his car and drove off. I think he went down the highway a ways and came back like 15 or 30 minutes later when he realized his mistake. And this is the aftermath. So there was no end links left over, just parts of the bracelet. Of course, case destroyed. The papers were all wrapped up, so they didn't really get damaged per se since they're flat. The watch, though, it's in better shape now. It's in the shape I'm going to leave it in. So this happened in March of last year is when I bought it. And this side of the watch doesn't look too bad. The case lugs, you can see they were ground down significantly on the road. So I actually took a file to these lugs to get some of the burrs off because it was cutting into my wrist a little bit. The anti-magnetic shield on the inside is dented all up. The movement, a bunch of jewels had become unseated. The crystal was gone, but what had happened was I think this watch was riding on the highway like this. So the bezel actually burnt over the edges of the crystal gasket, and parts of the sapphire were burnt into it or fused into the actual gasket. So we had to remove the movement and take a torch, or a rosebud they call it, and actually melt out the gasket and leftover sapphire. And then we took a file, a round file, and filed down the insides of the bezels so we can fit a new crystal in it. Now the crystal is aftermarket. Rolex price I think was about $900. I wasn't going to do that. The hands are aftermarket because for me to get new hands that match this model, I had to turn the old hands into Rolex, and I don't have them since the hands are on the highway somewhere. The crown is a new crown. The old one actually had ground flat quite a ways, so it cut your hand while you're operating it. And last year I took this baby water skiing, and I didn't have my crown screwed in. Actually, it was last Thanksgiving. I did not have my crown screwed in, so it flooded the watch. So I made some videos of it, joking about it and everything. I tried to get the water out of it, but it aged the hands a little bit. So due to that, I got a new crown and tube for it, which I think was about $315 for that. So what I ran into with this watch, though, is there's so many fractures on the movement on the 3135 that the only solution was to get a rebuilt movement. So I talked to my buddies at LA Watchworks, great guys, and they sold me a refurbished movement with a 1-year warranty, and then I exchanged my old one with them so they can sell it for parts. So it's keeping great time now. But I'm using curved spring bars, of course, on it, just because the Airking on these, if you look, if I have this spring bar straight up and down, there's just not enough room for a NATO, and I wear this on NATO all the time since the bracelet's trashed. But yeah, it's a cool watch. So I call, the nickname for it is Road Rash or ODB, Old Dirty Bastard. Cool watch with a story. I like watches that have a story, honestly, and I never keep them long enough, but I think I'll be keeping this one for a while. But we all can make our own story with our timepiece. Doesn't have to be as wild as this one or as extreme, but you know, a story is what makes it special. Hey, well, thanks, gang. Have a great day and please subscribe.